All right, so I think we're live. All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to Wellness Wednesdays with Mindful Nurses. My name is Janelle, and it's great to have you guys signing on and joining us today. And every week we host these events at Mindful Nurses to support nurses' mental health and well-being through holistic wellness and self-care practices. And we're really happy to have you guys coming and coming back. Today we have a great practice of QiGong with our special guest, Ashleigh Green, who will be sharing with us from Peace Be the Journey. Ashleigh's been teaching QiGong for over 3 years and studying under a master QiGong teacher, and she created her own thing called Peace Be the Journey, where she's teaching yoga and QiGong in Australia. And she and I met about a couple years ago now in Bali, and we're teaching together at a silent retreat, and really happy to reconnect with her and to have her share with our group today. So I will turn it over to Ashleigh, and we're just going to practice QiGong for about an hour. So just make yourself comfortable, drop into the practice, and then at the end we'll have some time to answer any questions you have about QiGong or about Ashleigh's practice. So thank you so much for coming, Ashleigh. We're super happy to have you here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Janelle. So lovely to reconnect with you too. And thank you for allowing me to be here and sharing with you guys today. It's such an honor to be able to share this practice of QiGong with you guys, wherever you are in the world. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about what the practice of QiGong is. So Qi is another word that we use for energy, and Gong means work. So it pretty much means that we're working with the energy inside of us. And energy can be a difficult thing for us to grasp or understand because we can't see it. So when we think about energy, it's hard for us to understand exactly what it is. But if we look at our breath, you know, we can't really see our breath unless we're in a really, really cold place and you exhale and then you can see it coming out. But the breath is something we can't really see, but we can feel it. So we know that it's real. And in the same way, this is how energy works. And energy is actually, well, the breath is what guides the energy as well. And so if you do practice yoga, you'll often hear them talking about prana, which is another word for breath or energy, the life force inside of us. And this is also another word for qi as well. So I'm going to be talking a lot throughout the practice about energy, but what we're really looking for is to allow our breath to guide the energy inside of us. So if we can just focus on our breath, this is going to do all the work for us. And in fact, just by simply breathing is QiGong. And we'll practice a few breathing exercises to begin with, just so we can really connect to the breath and allow it to start to move the energy or qi inside of us as well. So QiGong is really an ancient practice that's been used for thousands and thousands of years, originating in China, but a lot of cultures have been using this practice. And it's pretty much the base practice where all other practices come from. So pretty much QiGong is here, and then it comes Tai Chi, Kung Fu, martial arts, but they all use QiGong as this foundational practice as well. It's kind of like Hatha Yoga. It's the beginning, it's the foundation, and then other traditions stem from that as well. So we're going to go through some very simple movements today. And in fact, the simpler the movements are, the more that we can start to connect with what's going on inside. QiGong is very much a practice that's based on internal movement. So yes, we will be physically moving the body, but actually it's more about what's happening internally inside. And the more that we can become slower in our busy lives, you know, it can be difficult for us to find the time and space to actually slow down. When we can start to drop into that space of stillness, we can start to connect and become more sensitive to what's happening inside of the body. We can start to feel the breath moving, guiding the energy, starting to also move the blood within the body, reaching every single one of our cells and nourishing the organs as well. And that's some of the many benefits, physical benefits of a QiGong practice. we also start to feel, because we are connecting with the breath, you'll start to notice that the mind will start to slow down. You'll be able to rest in a deeper state of calm and peace. And hopefully you'll just feel nice and relaxed after. So we're just going to start with a little bit of breathing to begin with. And these practices of Qigong, they can either be done from a sitting, lying, or standing position. Most of what we're going to be doing today is standing, but if at any stage you feel the need that you need to come in a seated position or lying down, please listen to your body and come into whatever position feels natural for you today. So in Qigong, all of the practice is really focused on our dantian, which is this lower part of the belly. So if you measure within your own body right now, if you bring 3 fingertips below your navel, this is your dantian. And this is our energetic center. They believe in Chinese medicine and yoga, they call it the khanda or the hara. So 3 fingertips below your navel. This is our main focus in the practice of Qigong. This is where we're going to breathe. This is where we're going to try to get all of the energy to move from. They believe our dantian acts as like a reservoir of energy. So as we start to connect to this part of the body, all of the qi builds up, and then it acts as a pump, and it will pump that energy to every other part of the body that needs it. So all of our focus in our practice is really about this part of the body. We want the movement to start in here. And this is why we're going to just begin with breathing so that we can really feel that breath in our dantian or our energetic center. So maybe we want to be seated or standing I think we'll be standing actually. Let's come into a standing position. And we'll begin in our Qigong stance. So just making sure that you're on a nice bit of flat floor, or if you're outside, a nice bit of flat earth. And your feet will be at about hip width distance apart. Our toes are pointing forward. Knees are nice and soft. Now we never want to lock the joints, lock the knees or lock the elbows throughout the practice. If we can keep them nice and soft, then the energy inside of us can flow a lot more freely. So softly bent knees will allow the hips to remain open and relaxed. A really important part of Qigong is that we try to keep our tailbone tucked under. So we have a tendency to push the tailbone back, but in Qigong we try to draw it under. If you imagine that you're sitting on a high stool, keep that tailbone tucked under. This will start to form a connection between the earth and the sky, and we are that midpoint connection. So tailbone slightly tucked under. This will allow the spine to be nice and straight. And we don't want the spine to be stiff like a wooden plank. We want it to be flexible like a rope so that we can create space between the vertebrae. So the spine is central and straight, tailbone tucked under. Let's relax our shoulders down away from the ears towards the earth. We'll allow our neck and our head to be free of any weight or tension. We're just going to bend our elbows wide to the side of the body, allowing our fingertips to also be wide. And then let's rest our palms to our dantian. Remember, 3 fingertips below your navel, 1 palm on top of the other. And we're just going to close down our eyes here. Let's take a moment to connect into the body. Take a moment to connect with your breath. Connect into the space that you're in today. Let's just scan our body from our head down to our toes and observe how you feel. Without any judgment or criticism, just kindly observe your body. And as you rest your palms to your energetic center, let's bring our awareness into the space, down into that lower belly. Let's start to breathe into this part of our body now. So whenever you're ready, as you begin to inhale your next breath, See if you can try to breathe down into that lower part of the belly. Start to feel your belly rising and expanding outward. Imagine that a nice big balloon of air is starting to fill up. Whenever you're ready, as you exhale, start to feel your belly softening, relaxing. Imagine that that balloon is starting to deflate as the navel draws back towards the spine. Again, whenever you're ready, as you inhale, breathe into that lower belly. Start to feel it rise and expand. Imagine that big balloon of air is filling up. As you begin to exhale, slowly and naturally feel your belly softening, releasing. Feel that balloon starting to deflate. As you inhale, breathe into your belly, your dantian. Allow it to expand and try to fill it up with as much air as you can. And as you exhale, slowly soften and release the breath from the belly. And we're just going to continue this very simple belly breathing for the next minute or so here. So let's keep the eyes closed down. And let's use our breath to really connect into our energetic center here. Now, a really important thing, I think, particularly for women, is that in our society there's been a bit of a conditioning about how we look externally and particularly around the belly. You know, we're used to having a really flat tone, tight stomach. Qigong is, I don't want to say the opposite, but it allows us to relax in this part of the body. If we're holding tension here, then the energy can't move, the breath can't flow, and the organs can't function at their natural process. So give yourself permission to just totally relax in this lower part of the belly. Let it hang out. Be as relaxed as possible. Relaxation is the first principle of Qigong. So just relax. Now in Qigong, we never hold on to our breath. We want to try to keep it as smooth and fluid as possible. When the breath is smooth and fluid, that means the energy inside of us will also become smooth and fluid. So really notice that inhalation. Feel the belly, the dantian expand. Whenever you're ready to exhale, just let it all out. Release the breath from that lower belly. Whenever you're ready to inhale, start to fill it back up. Allow your breath to guide that movement in your lower belly. Just a few more breaths here. In time, we'll just take one more full breath down into that dantian, down into our energetic center. Once you've exhaled completely, let's just release the palms from the dantian, and we're going to rest the palms facing up in front of the dantian. We're going to start with a very simple movement here. And again, we want to allow all of the movement in the belly, the breath, to guide the movement through the rest of the body. Now in Qigong, there are certain energetic pumps or points in the body that we like to focus on to help guide the qi or energy inside of us. And there's 3 different points, and I'm just going to quickly explain before we begin. So as I'm explaining, continue to breathe into your dantian. So the first energetic pump is within the palms. So imagine that you have suction cups within your palms. And every time we inhale, we're going to draw the palms up, and imagine that you're lifting the energy upward. And every time we exhale, we're just going to lower the energy back down. Imagine that you're pushing or guiding the energy down through the palms. And we're just going to focus on that for the beginning. Continue to breathe into your dantian. The second point that we'll focus on is right in the sole of the foot. So in Chinese medicine, this is called kidney 1 or bubbling spring. And this is the root point for our kidneys. They believe that our kidneys are the most important organs in the body. So every time we inhale, we'll lift up through the palms, activating that point within the palms, but also we'll activate the point through the feet. So as you inhale, you want to draw up through the feet, almost create, imagine suction cups lifting up through the inner archways as you guide the energy from the earth into your body. And then as you exhale, relax the feet, lower the energy down. The third energetic point is at the very base of the spine. So again, as we inhale, we're drawing up through the palms, we're drawing up through the feet, and we're lifting the muscles that surround the anus. As we allow those muscles to lift up, they connect into our dantian and our spine. And then as we exhale, we soften and relax them all towards the earth. I know that's a lot to take in. And to begin with, all we're going to do is focus on the palms. So with this very simple movement now, and let's just allow the eyes to close whenever you are ready. If you want to watch to begin with, that's fine. So inhale, breathe into the dantian. And as soon as you start to feel that expansion of your belly, start to lift the palms up and bring them as high as your inhalation will allow. For some people, it's to the heart. For others, it's more the collarbones, the throat. Some people may even be the head. It's as high as your inhalation will allow. Whenever you're ready to exhale, palms facing down, feel your dantian start to soften, relax, and lower your palms back down. And this is all we're going to do as we inhale, breathe into the dantian, feel that expansion through the belly, start to guide the palms up. Lift it as high as your inhalation will allow, wherever that may be for you. And whenever you're ready to exhale, begin to lower the palms down, soften through your dantian. Again, when you're ready, as you inhale, breathe into your belly, breathe into your dantian, and start to guide palms and the energy upward. Come as high as your inhalation will allow. Whenever you're ready to exhale, palms facing down, guide the energy towards the earth, towards your dantian. So if the eyes aren't closed already, let's close them down and focus on that movement in the dantian. With every inhalation, feel that nice big expansion through the lower belly. Focus on the palms lifting up. Whenever you're ready to exhale, soften through that belly, that dantian, and lower the palms down. Just continue in your own time. QiGong, we never rush, we take our time, we go slow. Sometimes the slower we go, the more we can feel. Now, whenever you're ready, as you begin to inhale your next breath, breathe into the dantian, feel that expansion. Guide the energy up through the palms, and let's activate through the soles of the feet. So imagine that you're drawing energy up from the earth. Activate through your inner archways as you lift the energy from the earth up into your feet, guide it up through your legs towards your dantian. Allow the palms to lift it higher up into the body. Whenever you're ready to exhale, feel your dantian soften, relax the feet, lower the palms as you guide the energy back down towards the earth. So again, when you inhale, activate through the soles of the feet, lift up, breathe into the dantian. Feel the energy rising from the earth into your legs, up into your body, lifting the palms as high as you can. As you exhale, soften, relax everything down towards the earth. And we're just going to continue this now. We're starting with this very simple movement. Some of you may be thinking, why aren't we doing anything more? And we will. But remember, Qigong is very much about the internal movement. It's an inner practice. So if we can start with simple movement, this allows us to concentrate on what's happening inside. With each inhalation, as we breathe into the belly, we feel that gentle expansion. We can start to activate through the soles of the feet, activating that source point for the kidneys. We can draw the palms up. Imagine that you're guiding all of the energy, the blood, the oxygen inside of you upward, lifting it up towards the sky. So you exhale, just soften, sink, relax towards the earth. Good. Now, if this is already a lot going on for you, then just continue to concentrate on the movement through the feet, the palms and the belly. If you feel like you can, on your next inhalation, breathe into that dantian, feel that expansion. Activate through the soles of the feet, lift up through the inner archways. Draw the energy up towards the dantian, and then lift the muscles at the base of the spine around the anus. Lift the palms up, lengthen through the spine, and then as you exhale, slowly soften, sink, relax everything. The palms, the base of the spine, the feet, and the dantian. Give it back down towards the earth. Again, when you're ready, as you inhale, draw up through the feet. Guide the energy towards the dantian, lifting at the base of the spine, the muscles around the anus. Guide the energy up through the palms, and then as you exhale, soften, sink, relax everything towards the earth. We're going to continue this for 1 more minute. And I invite you to keep your eyes closed, focusing on all of that movement internally. Drawing up through the feet, the spine, the palms. Exhaling as you soften, sink, relax everything towards the earth. Just a few more here. Remember, let's try to keep the breath as natural as possible, as unrestricted as possible. Allow your breath to guide the movement. Allow your breath to guide the energy. And in your own time, let's do one more. Inhale, breathe into your dantian, draw up through the soles of the feet. Lift at the base of the spine. Guide the energy up with the palms as high as your inhalation allows. And then as you exhale, slowly soften, sink, relax towards the earth. Well done. Let's just rest our palms back to our dantian now, our energetic center. Close down through your eyes. Breathe into this part of your body and just observe how you feel. Noticing any sensations in your body. Feel the breath in your dantian. When we're ready, we're going to release the palms from the dantian and come into our next simple movement now. And this movement is called gathering energy. So same principle as before, we're allowing all of the breath in the dantian to help guide the movement through the body. So as you inhale, you start to feel that expansion through your dantian moving outward. Let's start to expand the arms outward. And imagine that you're trying to gather as much energy around you as you can, or even as much air as you can. Whenever you're ready to exhale, you feel that dantian moving back towards the spine. Start to draw your palms back towards your body, towards your dantian. Again, whenever you're ready to inhale, expand through your belly, expand through your dantian. Remember that big balloon of air is filling up as you gather all of the energy that surrounds you. As you exhale, you feel the dantian moving back towards the spine. Draw your palms back towards your center. Again, when you're ready, inhale, breathe into your dantian. Gather all of the energy that surrounds you today. Whenever you're ready to exhale, slowly bring it in towards your center. And we're just going to continue now this for a few minutes. And I'm just going to turn to the side so that you can see what's happening with my dantian, so you get a bit of an idea. So again, as we inhale, allow it to fully expand out, just like a nice big balloon. And then as we exhale, the dantian draws back towards the spine. And in the beginning, particularly if this is your first QiGong practice, it sometimes requires a bit of effort to allow this to happen. Definitely requires a lot of awareness. But the more that we do this, it just becomes natural. And in fact, these movements of QiGong, because they are so ancient, they are natural to the body. It's almost like a muscle memory. And when we are learning these movements, it's like we are relearning something that we have forgotten long ago. And it doesn't take a long time for the body to remember what was once forgotten. So inhale, breathe into that dantian and gather all of the energy, the air that surrounds you. Exhale, slowly draw it back in towards the body. Continue in your own time. Really focusing on that movement through your center. Making sure that that tailbone is staying tucked under, that the knees are nice and soft. That we continue to stay relaxed through the body, relax through the breath, and relax through the dantian. This particular movement gathering energy is very good for massaging our abdominal organs, all of those digestive organs. So again, when we are under a lot of stress, when we are tensing through this part of the body, it's placing tension on those digestive organs, and it doesn't allow them to function naturally like they would. So if we have digestive issues, if we have any menstrual issues, if we find ourselves under a lot of pressure, worry, and stress, which all affect our digestion, this is a beautiful movement that you can practice. It's very grounding for the mind. It forces us to breathe into the belly, and the breath massages those digestive organs. It nourishes the stomach, the spleen, the large and small intestines. And as the breath nourishes these organs, it allows the energy to flow freely through them, assisting with the process of absorption, but also elimination. This movement is also very good if you tend to get headaches and migraines. Continue for about a minute more. Now, option, if you'd like to, with every inhalation, let's remember if we can activate through the soles of the feet, that kidney 1 point. So as you inhale, you breathe into your dantian. Can you activate and lift up through the soles of the feet? As you exhale, can you soften the feet and draw the energy towards your center? And again, if that's too much, that's fine. Just continue to focus on the breath and the belly. Just a few more here. Good. In your own time, we'll do one more. Inhale, expand through the dantian, gather all of the energy that surrounds you. As you exhale, start to draw it in towards your center. Let's again rest our palms back to our dantian. We'll keep the eyes closed. Just continue to breathe slowly and naturally down into your belly. Kindly observe how you feel. Again, notice any sensations that may be happening in your body. You may even start to experience a few shifts within your digestion. Perhaps you can hear things moving or even some gurgling noises, which is very normal, and we encourage those noises and feelings to come. It means that the energy is starting to shift any blockages or stagnation. When we're ready, we're going to release the palms from the dantian and just bring them in front of the body, in front of your belly. Palms facing one another, fingertips pointing forward. We're going to move into a movement called energy thrust here. Same principle as before. All of the movement starts in our dantian. So as you inhale to your dantian, you start to feel it expand. Let's start to extend and project the right arm out in front of the body. And imagine that all of the energy is shooting out of your right fingertips like laser beams. So you project it forward. Whenever you're ready to exhale, you feel your dantian move back towards the spine. Slowly start to pull that right arm back and towards your body. Imagine that you're giving all of the energy from the right palm to the left. As you begin to inhale, let's extend that left arm forward. begin to project all of the energy out of the left fingertips like laser beams. Whenever you're ready, as you exhale, you feel your dantian draw back towards the spine. Slowly start to pull the left arm back towards your body. Imagine that you're giving the energy from the left palm now to the right, and as you inhale, extend, project the right arm forward. And then as you exhale, slowly draw it back. Good. Giving the energy from the right palm to the left as you inhale, extend, project, left arm forward. Exhale, slowly draw it back. Let's continue in your own time. Again, I'm going to turn to the side so you can see the movement happening in the dantian. So as we inhale, start to feel that expansion. We start to extend the right arm forward. And as you exhale, feel the dantian drawing back towards the spine. Pull the right palm back towards the body. Inhale as we begin to extend the left palm forward. Expand through that dantian. Project the energy out of the fingertips. And as you exhale, feel the dantian drawing back towards the spine as you slowly bring the left palm back. Inhale as we extend, project. Exhale as we slowly draw it back in. Really just take your time, focusing on the breath in your dantian. And this is why we go slow. Because if we move fast, we're really just focusing on the physical body and what's happening with the arms or the legs. But the slower we go, we can actually feel that breath moving in the belly. The slower we go, the more sensitive we can become to what's actually happening inside of us. Now, this particular movement is excellent for bringing warmth and circulation into the fingertips and the feet, particularly during the colder winter months. So all of the energy within our dantian, remember it acts as a pump, and it starts to pump the energy into the hands and the fingertips, increasing our circulation to these parts of the body. And as most of us probably know, if we have cold hands and feet, it's a sign that circulation isn't functioning the way it should. It's often a sign that our kidneys and our liver aren't functioning at their highest and best potential. And through this practice of QiGong, we start to increase that circulation as we start to send oxygen to each and every single one of the cells. As we begin to nourish these vital organs, such as the kidneys and the liver. Now we're going to continue for about a minute more here. And just observe any sensations that you may be feeling within your hands, your fingers. As you project one arm forward, it may even feel like you are pushing your hand through a really thick, dense piece of air. Or it may even feel quite heavy. It may feel warm. Just notice what you feel. It may be nothing, and that's fine as well. The key is the awareness that we're starting to build. own time, we'll do one more on each side. And in this practice, we always begin on the right and end on the left. So take your time, we'll do one more on each side, ending on the left. And once you've finished on the left side, just keep the palms in front of the body. Fingertips pointing forward. Continue to breathe into your dantian. And let's try bringing our awareness into the fingertips, the palms, the hands. And again, just simply notice what you feel. Any sensations here, a sense of tingling or warmth, a sense of vibration or magnetic force. If you slowly lift one hand up and down, can you start to feel an exchange of energy here? Beautiful, well done. Let's come into our next movement now. And let's continue to focus on the pumps within the palms for this next movement. So we're going to keep our knees really nice and soft. And as you inhale, just want to start to draw the energy up through the palms. Again, bring it as high as your inhalation will allow. Maybe it's to the shoulders, maybe to the throat, maybe to the head. Start to bring the palms in towards the body. And then as you exhale, press the energy down alongside the body. Imagine that you're giving it down towards the earth. Continue to bend through the knees, and whenever you're ready to inhale, start to draw the energy up through the palms. Remember those suction cups, we're guiding the energy up. Pull it in towards the body, and then whenever you're ready to exhale, slowly press it down towards the earth. Good. Again, when you're ready, inhale. Breathe into the dantian. Imagine that you're sucking all the energy up through the palms. Draw it in towards your body, and as you begin to exhale, slowly press it down towards the earth. And it may even feel like you're really pushing a force down towards the earth. Inhale, slowly start to guide it up through the palms. Bring it in towards the body. And as you exhale, just press it down towards the earth. Good. Continue in your own time. Now remember, try to keep the breath as natural as possible. If you get to your dantian and you need to breathe out, that's fine. Just draw the hands in and then exhale, push it down. Really listen to your body here. I don't want you to feel as if you're holding onto the breath or constricting through the chest. It's the opposite of what we want to do. We want to stay as relaxed as possible. Turn to the side so that again we can continue to see movement through the dantian. And as I said before, this QiGong practice, it's all about trying to get this part of the body to move. And this is why it takes work and persistence. That's why Gong is within the title of QiGong, because it does require work, persistence to try to get this part of the body to move. As we inhale, drawing up, expanding through that dantian, bring it in towards the body, exhale, press it down. Inhale, expand through that belly. Guide the energy up through the palms, draw it in, exhale, press it down. Good. Now we're just going to do a few more here. About a minute more. And again, just taking your time. This particular movement is again very good for creating warmth within the body. So if you're in a part of the world that is now moving into winter, this is something that you could do every morning and every night, even if it's only for 5 minutes. Start to draw warmth up into the hands, into the feet, and into the dantian. It will create an internal fire. And that's really where we want to create the warmth. Particularly in winter, we tend to gravitate towards fires or heaters, anything to try to warm us externally. But actually, if we can warm ourselves internally, we don't need anything from the outside. A few more here. In your own time, let's do one more. As we inhale, guide the energy up through the palms. Draw it in towards your body. Exhale, give it down towards the earth. Beautiful, well done. When we're ready, again, let's just guide the palms back to the dantian, just starting to draw in that warm, nourishing energy back into your center. Continue to breathe into your dantian and notice how you feel. And be honest with yourself. This practice tends to bring up quite a lot of different things. It may feel good, it may not, and either is fine. But let's just be honest with how we feel in this moment. When we're ready, we're going to release the palms from the dantian and come into one more movement for today, which is called 3D energy ball. And I'm just going to turn to the side so we can see the initial movement. So you're going to bend through the knees, bend forward. We're going to scoop the hands forward and up and come into a holding position called 3D energy ball. And it's exactly as it sounds. We're holding onto a nice big energy ball between our palms, our arms, and our chest. So let's do that together. As we bend through the knees, inhale and start to scoop the energy forward and up. And bring the arms to about shoulder height or a little bit below. Now let's take a moment to make sure we're still in our QiGong stance where our toes are pointing forward. The knees are nice and soft. Hips are still open and relaxed. Tailbone just slightly tucked under like we're sitting on that high stool. Spine is central and straight like that flexible rope. Shoulders relaxing down and away from the ears. The head is still feeling weightless. The neck is free of any tension. Allowing the elbows to be wide, the fingertips also spread wide. Holding onto this nice big energy ball. Closing down through the eyes and breathing into your center. Breathe into your dantian. And as you continue to breathe into your dantian, imagine that you are holding on to a nice big energy ball. And let's start to see if we can use our awareness with our intention to start to move some of the energy now. So bring your awareness to your fingertips and visualize that you have a mini energy ball resting between your thumb and your index finger. Imagine that you have a mini energy ball resting between your index and your middle finger. Imagine there's an energy ball resting between your middle and your fourth finger. And imagine there's an energy ball resting between your fourth and your pinky finger. Breathe into your dantian. Let's see if we can use that intention to move all of the energy within the left arm, the left hand and fingertips over into the right. With your awareness, let's see if we can project all of the energy within that left side of the body over to the right. Feel it moving into your right fingertips, your right palm, your right wrist. Feel the energy flowing down your right forearm into your right elbow. Watch the energy as it rises up your right arm into your right shoulder. Feel it running across the top of your right shoulder, behind the neck, and down into your left shoulder, down into your left arm, your left elbow. Feel it running across your left forearm into your left wrist, your left palm and fingertips. Breathe into your dantian. Now, if you feel like the shoulders and the neck are becoming tired, visualize that you have an orange underneath each armpit and squeeze down on those oranges. Release and relax the shoulders and the neck. Breathe into your dantian. And as we continue to breathe into the dantian, let's start to add a little bit of internal movement here. So whenever you're ready, as you inhale, breathe into that dantian. Start to activate through the soles of the feet, lift up through those inner archways. See if you can also lift the muscles surrounding the base of the spine. And then as you exhale, soften, relax, sink everything down towards the earth. Bend the knees, sink the tailbone down. Again, as you inhale, activate through the soles of the feet, lift at the base of the spine. And as you exhale, slowly start to soften through the knees, sink the tailbone towards the earth, relax. Again, as you inhale, activate through the feet, lift at the base of the spine, guide the energy up. As you exhale, soften, relax, sink the energy down towards the earth. As you inhale, lift the energy towards the sky through the feet, the spine, the palms. Exhale as you soften, sink, relax it down towards the earth. One more time, you're doing so well as we inhale, guiding the energy up. Exhale, soften, relax towards the earth. Well done. Now we're still holding onto the energy ball, I know, but now we're going to start to shift it from side to side. And we're trying to maintain that connection between the palms, the arms, and the chest. And I want you to move in whatever way feels natural and intuitive to your body right now. So instead of trying to think, which way should I go? Let's see if we can allow the energy to intuitively guide this movement. Still breathe into the dantian. But when we take any thought out of the movement, this is when it truly becomes a moving meditation. At any stage you begin to lose that connection between your palms, your arms, and your chest, come back into that very first holding position that we were just in until you start to feel it again, and then begin to move from side to side. Some people prefer to bring that energy ball between the palms. You're welcome to experiment with that. See what feels strongest for you. Let's continue to stay relaxed through the body. Relax through the breath. Relax through the dantian. This is also another wonderful movement to generate that warmth from the inside out, igniting that inner fire deep within the belly, deep within our dantian. And when we can warm this part of the body, it will warm the rest of the body. And whenever you're ready, slowly let's start to draw our energy ball back to center. I'm going to come back into that first holding position, but we won't stay for as long, I promise. But just come back into that first holding position, close down through your eyes, breathe into your dantian, and bring your awareness into the hands, the fingers, the arms. Notice what you feel. Any tingling sensations, any warmth, sense of heaviness, thickness of energy. Maybe it feels like you're holding on to something very heavy. Is that connection strong enough that if you wiggle a finger on the left hand, you can feel that movement being mirrored on the right? So let's try this now. Wiggle a finger, wiggle each finger on the left hand. Can you feel any kind of movement being mirrored on the right without moving that right fingertip? When we're ready, we're going to inhale, lift up through the feet, the base of the spine, guide the energy up. And then as you exhale slowly, let's bend the knees, let's give that energy ball down towards the earth. Well done. Releasing the energy now as you inhale, slowly bring your palms towards your dantian. And then we're going to lift the palms up towards the sky, drawing the energy upward, lengthening through the spine. Whenever you're ready to exhale, palms facing down, lower the energy down, down through your body towards your dantian. So again, when you're ready, as you inhale, breathe into the dantian, guide the energy up towards the sky. Whenever you're ready to exhale, palms facing down and lower the energy, guide it down through your body towards your dantian. We're going to do 3 more like this. So go in your own time. Inhale, expand through the dantian, lift it up towards the sky. Exhale as you guide it back down through your body towards your dantian. 2 more here. Inhaling up Exhaling down. One more time. Inhaling up. And exhale down. Let's rest our palms back to our dantian. We'll keep our eyes closed, our focus within. Continue to breathe into your center. And just very kindly observe how your body feels. Staying in that space of truth. The body's feeling good. And if it's not, that's okay as well. Because either way, we're starting to shift things internally. Kindly notice the state of your mind. Is it easier to be in a state of quiet, calm, and peace? Notice your breath. Can you feel that stronger connection down into your lower belly now? Down into your energetic center, the source of all creation and all life. When we're ready, let's release the palms from the dantian. We're going to lift the palms to the sky one final time as we inhale. This time we'll bring the palms together to touch. And as we exhale, let's lower them down in towards our heart space. Slowly bowing our head forward in a sign of gratitude and respect for our body, our breath, our energy, our practice, our planet, and for this moment in which we all share together right now. In a sign of more humility and less ego. Namaste. Let's rub the palms together quickly just to generate warmth between the palms. And then allow your palms to rest down on top of your closed eyelids, just very softly and gently. Breathe into the back of your eyes, breathe into your palms, and allow all of that beautiful warm energy to flow down from your palms into your face, down into your neck and the rest of your body. Then let's lift the palms up over the forehead, down the back of the head, back across the face, and we'll do this 3 times. And then we're going to relax the arms back down. Feel free to open the eyes whenever you're ready, and we are all done. Thank you. If you want to come sitting, and we can have some time for questions. If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer anything that you may have, or if anybody wants to share anything that may have come up in the practice, I'd love to hear your experience as well.
Thank you so much, Ashleigh.
Thank you for allowing me to share.
Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful practice. I really appreciate your presence. You really embody the spirit of QiGong. You're very grounded, peaceful presence guiding us through the practice. So thank you for your presence here. And I loved all of the wisdom that you shared with us through the practice as well. I really resonate with what you shared about the softness. I think that's such a beautiful gift of the QiGong practice, is learning the softness, to have this softness in our bodies, especially I think as nurses, you know, we're in busy crowded hospitals and emergency rooms, wherever you're working. You know, I just remember how living in New York and working in an emergency room and how like tense my body was all the time without even really knowing it. And I started practicing QiGong year or two ago, and I remember that was the first thing I really appreciated about it, was just realizing how much tension I was holding in my body, like just becoming aware of all of the tight places, and learning to let that go and learning to have more softness in my body. And then from that space of softness to start to have more sensation. I think we're so numb when we're tense. We can either have chronic pain or maybe numbness in our bodies. And I felt like I was so numb. And then as I started to soften and open and have this spaciousness in my body, I just noticed so much sensation. And like you shared, the warmth and buzzing and yeah, it's really beautiful and puts me in a very peaceful and blissful state. So thank you for sharing that with us. It's such a beautiful practice.
So well.
Yeah.
You know, in our society, we're very much, you know, we always think we need to be strong, we need to be able to just push our way through. But when we can actually learn to be the opposite and become more soft, more gentle, more kind with ourselves, actually that can create an inner strength within us as well.
Yeah, I love that you bring that up. And I also feel that as well, like a grounding presence after doing this. I feel more empowered. And actually, I had the chance to practice with a Shaolin monk. I'll have to share his information with you. I think you would love it, in Thailand. And it was amazing. I mean, he'd been practicing since he was a child, and a really master teacher. And it was amazing. Like, he showed us once, he had, I don't know, 10 of the strongest people in our class try to push him over when he had like emptied his weight or his chi, his energy into his feet. And he was just standing there, like not tensing his muscles, not using any kind of tension, just being in that softness. And 10 people tried to push him over and they couldn't. So it's amazing, like how much strength is actually in that softness and that emptiness.
I'd love for you to share his details with me.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, well, I don't see any other questions coming in right now, but please feel free to share them with us as well if you have questions or comments or feedback for Ashleigh. Later, if you're watching this video, we're going to be sharing Ashleigh's contact details when we post the recording on the website and on our YouTube channel. So you can get in touch with Ashleigh at Peace Be the Journey and continue with your Qigong practice if you like this today. So thank you so much again, Ashleigh, for sharing with us. And thank you everyone for joining today. Have a beautiful day. Thank you.